Objective 1.2, define identity concepts, and first topic is identity as the primary security perimeter. So in modern security, identity is considered the main control boundary, replacing the traditional network perimeter. So traditionally, the network perimeter, the firewall or the network device installed at the perimeter of the organization network was considered at the security boundary. But in modern security concepts, identity is the new perimeter. So we are shifting from network-based security, also known as perimeter-based security, to identity-based security. It is driven by cloud and the remote access, and it uses users, devices, and application identities. So user have user names and passwords. Device have other identities such as device IP address, device location, and application also has their own identities. From core to zero trust model, and it enables conditional access policies. So what is conditional access? Conditional access means, for example, if we have a device, so we can say that if the device is located at location X, if the antivirus is updated, if the device firewall is on, then the access to the device will be given. So this is conditional based access. Next is authentication. So authentication is basically the process of verifying the identity of a user, a device, or a application. For example, the authentication basically answers that who are you. When a user tries to log in to some web page, the web page may ask the user that who are you in the form of, and the user then responds with credentials such as passwords, biometrics, or tokens, and it supports multi-factor authentication, MFA. Multi-factor means that the user, besides applying the passwords, applies additional factors such as biometrics. So now we have two factors, password and biometric. So this is known as multi-factor, sometimes also known as 2FA or two-factor authentication. So it can be passwordless authentication. So there are passwordless authentication as well. For example, you may have used the banking application where you can enable the biometric. So instead of using the password, you just use your thumb to scan your thumbprint and log into the application using your biometric. Of course, your device is also used during this authentication process because it is trusted by the application. And authentication is the first step before authorization. So after authentication comes the authorization, and our next topic is also authorization. So authorization is the process of determining what an authenticated user is allowed to access or do. So when the user logs into a system or a device, then there are certain actions that user can do. These actions are determined through the authorization. So the key points to consider here is that the authorization basically answers what can you access or what can you do, and it is basically based on roles and permissions. So for example, if you have, let's suppose, a guest role, you may have very limited permissions. On the other hand, the admin role or administrator role has more permissions. So these are different roles, and it uses RBAC or role-based access control system. So the access to guest user are somewhat different, to operational user it is different, and to administrator it is different. And it enforces least privilege principle. It means that it enables such the least principal privilege, which is that the user only can access or perform actions that are needed for them to perform their duties, no more and no less. And authorization process happens after authentication. So it is sequential. So first we authenticate and then we are authorized to do certain actions. Next is the identity providers. So identity provider is a system that creates, manages and authenticates identities for users and services. And key points to consider here are that it performs the authentication services, it stores users' credentials and identity data, and it issues authentication token. Example of identity providers are Microsoft Entra ID, previously known as Azure AD, and it also enables SSO or single sign-on. Single sign-on means that you log in only once through a single credential and then you can use multiple applications. Directory services and Active Directory. So a directory service stores and organizes identity information, while Active Directory is Microsoft's on-premises directory service. Key points: it stores users, groups and devices. It provides authentication and authorization. It uses domains, forest and organization units, also known as OUs. So Active Directory domain services is for on-premises, while Microsoft Entra identification is for cloud-based identity. Next is federation. So what is federation? So federation is a trust relationship that allows identity sharing across different organizations or systems. And key points to consider here are that it enables SSO or single sign-on across different domains. It uses trusted identity providers. It is based on federation protocols such as SAML, OAuth and OpenID Connect, and there is no need to store credentials in multiple places, and it is common in B2B and cloud services. So now let's go through a couple of quizzes. So a user is assigned a role that allows read-only access to a database. What does this represent? So we are talking about access. The user has read-only access and the options are whether this is authentication, encryption, authorization or federation. So it is in fact authorization. So when we are talking about what a user can access or what a user or a device can do, we are talking about authorization. So access rights means authorization, which are usually role-based access control. Next is which of the following occurs first in an access process? Authorization, authentication, federation and compliance. So we studied this in our previous slides and the correct option is authentication. So identity must be verified before access is granted. So first the user is authenticated and then the next process is authorization, then the user is granted access to certain application and the user can then perform certain actions.